Okay, another great episode of Recycled Idaho, and you are our very first Junk Holler out there, and it happens to be also the name of your company. And I just learned something that I should have known. I thought you were a franchise, but you're not.
No, we're locally owned.
You're locally owned.
Yeah, with a franchise vibe.
I like that. Your marketing looks like a franchise, and I say that in a positive way. It looks like you have a big marketing support. Your trucks are clean, and all that. But let's rewind real quick. I want to know more about Royce. Tell us about you. Like, how did you get to Idaho and get into the junk business? Let's just start there.
Yeah. So my background goes with some media buying. I used to work for an agency out of New York, so that's where my history comes from, working for that company. So I was able to work from home, and LA was getting super expensive. So we liked Idaho. Came here in 2008.
You lived in LA.
Yeah,
but
I lived
worked
in
with
LA.
for a company out of New York.
Yeah.
Well, what's media buying? Forgive me.
Media buying goes back to infomercials.
Oh, okay.
Way back, I was working with the innovator of infomercials. Her name was Katie Williams for a company in Santa Monica called Williams Television Time. And so that goes back to, those old infomercials with the Ginsu knife and so forth.
Oh, okay.
So very innovative, and learned a lot from her. Did that, went from...
Was she the one on the, doing the sales on the TV, or is she behind the scenes?
She's behind the scenes. She's the brains to realize, TV stations have time that they're not using. By that time, sell products.
Was she one of the first ones to that space?
Absolutely. She kind of created the whole idea, which is amazing.
I think I saw a documentary about her.
Yeah.
If I don't remember the name, but it was really interesting, and it was about that space.
Yeah.
And it was very innovating.
Yeah.
So you started there. You lived in L.A.
Yep.
You born and raised in L.A.?
Santa Monica.
Santa
Born
Monica.
and raised.
That's where my wife was born.
Very nice.
So awesome.
Yeah.
We talk about the Lakers a lot. We both root for the Lakers. It's been 2020 was cool, but after that, it's been kind of rough.
A little challenging.
Yeah. But we'll get back. We'll get back to the promised land. But so what did you like about Idaho?
We had family who lived here.
Okay.
So coming from busy Santa Monica, LA area, coming here was a little bit very chill. It was nice. Took a little adjusting, but you can get easily into it.
It's way different. I've only lived here. I love it here. I was born and raised, but my dad's from LA. My mom's from Escondido. My wife's from that LA area. And we go down there once or twice a year. And I love to visit, but it's also really nice to come home but it's just so different. Like when people here, I was at the gym the other day and they were talking about how nasty Middleton's getting, and I just got back from LA and I was just shaking my head. I'm like we have it so good here. Like I was staying in somewhere where there was a liquor store at every corner, Yeah. So it's just a night and day. Now, did you come here for opportunity or just for quality of life?
I think quality of life. It was a good place to raise the family, and we really like it. It's beautiful here. It's a great place. Boise's a great place to even start a business.
What year was that you came here?
2008.
2008.
Yeah.
Because I met you in maybe 2011.
Yeah, that's when we got our start because Junk Holler started 2012.
Okay, so I met you in 2012 then, probably.
Yeah.
Because that's about the time we opened our Boise facility. And you started hauling in a truck.
Yep.
Explain. If people don't know what the junk companies, is that what you call your companies? What is that space called?
Call it junk removal.
Junk removal
companies,
okay. Yeah. And you and the Junk Monkeys, which no longer exists, were the first, and they were both, now that I know, they're both local. I knew the Junk Monkeys was local because I knew who started it. So explain exactly what that is for the community.
The junk removal business, I think right when we started, we were actually probably the second, that were here in that. And honestly, I had no idea what junk removal was because coming from a media buying agency, aspect. We just moved here and then kind of started the business because we bought a house when it was 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty cheap. It was a great
You
time
bought
to buy.
it right.
Brought it.
Because
It
that's
was perfect timing,
I bought mine in 2011, so similar story.
Yeah. And so the house was a little bit older, and so the whole process got started because we were remodeling that floor. And again, when I worked in an office the whole time, so working outdoors was a whole new experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so borrowed somebody's trailer, and we're hauling out this old wood from this floor in the middle of winter doing this remodel, going back and forth to the dump.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was maybe the third time when I was wet, soggy, muddy, realized like, man, this is lame. Like, I don't want to do this anymore.
I thought you were saying, boom, I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Well, it was a process because it was like lame, you're all cold. And then you realize like, that's when the light bulb went off. Like, this is a great opportunity because people hate doing this.
And I call that light bulb, opportunity.
It was.
Because that opportunity, any successful business, I think, is solving a problem.
Yeah.
So that light bulb, you saw a big opportunity, especially back then, around that time. Like you said, you were the second junk company?
Yeah. There's only one other guy in town doing it.
Okay. So you were remodeling your house, ripping out carpet, wood,
everything.
Just junking it all.
Yeah.
You probably had some scrap.
Yeah.
Did you know anything about the scrap world at the time?
No. I mean, we started, our roots were like just like straight trash, and that's when the light bulb went off and then realized, like this is a great business. And then as we got into it, obviously the process of like realizing what you have to do to start a business and so forth. Once we got up and running, that's when scrapping came in. And you realize like, some of the stuff that you're pulling out, being a rookie, which I was, which was, good learning process. That's when you pull metal out and you realize like, okay, you don't want this all to go to landfill. Where else can you take it? And it was perfect timing to meet you because that was a great opportunity for us to not just throw everything into a landfill, but recycle it, understand the process of, how to do that.
It saves you on costs. Say it helps your bottom line.
Yeah.
You make a little money that you could probably spread around a lot of companies use it for like barbecues or bonuses and things of that nature. And before I had met you, I really didn't know much about that there were junk companies like that. Because we get a lot of phone calls that I'll direct towards you to be like, a person that wants to get rid of a washing machine. We can't go do a washing machine. That's not our business model. Now, it's really nice to give them a solution rather than just be like, oh, sorry, there's nothing we can do. I was like, hey, these guys will do it. They're going to charge you. It's not free, but there's a service for it. So, this is 2012. You started it.
Yeah.
You are the founder, the owner, all the above?
Yeah, founder, owner, creator. Had to go from the beginning of just starting a business. For somebody who, again, worked in an office, it was quite the process of learning how to start a business, come up with the business name, how to acquire vehicles.
Was there any other names that you almost landed on? Any funny names you can share with us?
Honestly, I'll tell you the process, I really took a long time. It took about 3 months to come up with a name.
Okay.
It did because I realized, that's a big part of the business. If you want to stand out, you got to have, something besides, like Royce's Junk Removal. You want to get something a little catchy.
I think a lot of businesses really do, owners incorporate their name. I think it's like an ego thing. And I think if you can get away from that, your branding's going to be a lot cleaner. So I think you made the right decision to use like a clean. Like I said, I truly thought you guys, like, you were more of a franchise. Because it was after I'd met you, years later, some of these franchise for competitions were popping up. So 3 months to figure out a name. We've done a bunch of company builds in our own company, so we know that process.
Yeah.
And some of the names that like I look back on it, just kind of like, oh, that was so dumb. Or some of the logos we had made.
Right.
Some sketches, like I still have a lot of them on some of our reclaim companies. And it's kind of really cool to go look at the process and see how far you've come. Have you always had the same logo? Have you rebranded it over the years?
We have rebranded. I agree with you. Like, if we ever do a documentary on the company, we've got all these logos that we've done. And, you know, you're like talking about holler. So you have to, you know, Junk Holler. So you got the little man on the side hollering.
Because it's HOLLER.
You got it. So it's a play on words, which is really nice. So that Junk Holler was a really good catch. And you're right. You know, we rebranded because you have to rebrand. You have to kind of do your logo just to kind of go with the times, or else you're going to, you know.
You got to keep growing, evolve. You got to adjust. We're always adjusting our brands, you know. Yeah. Trying to make it cleaner, make a new version of the logo, but not too different, so you can still connect to all that old branding you did.
Yeah.
And like us, we have to, you know, try to compete and, you know, use our service. We're a service-based model. You know, I assume you guys are too.
Yeah.
And do you guys do a lot of advertising on like YouTube, commercials? Do you do any of that, or do you just get word of mouth?
We do. We got some great commercials out, and what's great is our spokeswoman is 99 years old, and she's actually, if you've ever seen our commercials, she's great.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, she's amazing. I heard her voice. I was in a meeting, and I heard her voice, and it just clicked right away. There's a light bulb moment to say, like, wow, to have her as a spokesperson, and to create those commercials and come up with the concept of her just driving up in a car, like solving everybody's problems with, you know, just holler, you know, which is really amazing. And she became quite famous here in the Valley because people would see her at the stores and say, "You're the Junk Holler lady." And she is tough. She just recently passed away. She's
I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's a really good friend. And she's tough. She made it through COVID, had COVID, broke a hip, recovered from a hip, all at like in her late 90s. Wow. She's tough. They don't build them like that.
No. I'm sorry to hear she passed because I love watching those commercials. Yeah. I don't think I've seen them all. I'll have to. Where can I find those?
Find those on YouTube.
Are they on your YouTube channel?
We also broadcast them on, you know, KIVI, which is nice.
I've seen them on there a few times, but I love that original one. I think you showed me her very first one.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, if you got junk, just holla.
Yeah.
Like that one?
Yeah, yeah.
Got junk? Need to get rid of it? Don't know what to do?
Well, just holler!
Just holler!
I'll holler.
Could you believe this? We can actually park in our garage.
Well, just holler!
So what kind of junk do you haul for someone? Like, say I call you, I bought a house, it's a piece of shit, and I want to rent it. Can I be like, Royce, just clean it all out?
Yeah, we've learned through the process of what we want to do and what we don't want to do. There's certain things that we won't. Like, we don't haul away nuclear waste.
That's smart. Yeah.
We don't.
You're not a hazardous waste.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the point of that. We're not hazmat. We stay away from that. There's things that the city takes advantage. You can take advantage of from the city to do that. But pretty much we can haul away anything else. You know, we make people's dreams come true, literally, because, you know, they sometimes come and they say, "Can you take away, you know, this TV or like this fridge or this thing?" They don't know how to do it, and that's where we come in.
And then you find all the right places to go. Yeah. You know, some can come to the scrapyard, but some needs to go to like the city so it gets properly like recycled or disposed of. You know, and that's what's nice, especially in Ada County. They have a really good program for a lot of those things. Yeah. So you can find that solution. Do you do any type of demo work? Do
Yeah, we do
do?
light demo. We do light demo. We try not to. We don't have any big machinery that's going to
You
like
do
do
some
that.
light stuff with like sledgehammers and things like that?
Yeah,
Okay. So
definitely.
I've noticed that, like, that's kind of an evolution of your outfit. Like, you probably get asked that a lot. Can you, like, take this out? Can you...
Yeah.
What about hot tubs? Do you do a lot of hot tubs?
We used to. That's a good example of where we have a partnership with somebody else who has a great way of getting rid of those hot tubs.
Okay.
So we work with them.
You outsource that?
We'll outsource that.
Because that's got to be a nightmare.
It is.
Hot tubs.
We learned a lesson, and I think that's where we learned through the process, as I mentioned earlier, like what is good, what's not. Hot tubs can be a real challenge. Like you either lift it out with a dolly or you're cutting it with a Sawzall. And
Yeah.
I did that one time and realized like this is not our business model, along with like
Yeah.
roofing shingles as well. That's not us.
No.
Heavy roofing
I
shingles.
used to roof for
Yeah,
years.
you know.
That's a tough gig. You let the roofers get rid of
Exactly.
the shingles,
Yeah.
So even for us, like, that's what we learn as we go. It's always evolving. We're always refining how we do things. So we say, yeah, we used to do it this way, but we really took a hard look, and because of these changes to XYZ, we have to do it like this now, and that's gonna make some customers unhappy.
Yeah.
But anyone that is in business will understand it. That change is inevitable, and if you're not changing or growing, like, I truly think your business is getting ready to die. So you're always just trying to refine your network and your resources. How many trucks do you guys have?
We have 3.
3?
Yeah. 2 are running, mostly 2 running all the time.
7 days a week? 5 days a week?
6 days. We like to give our drivers,
Good.
Yeah.
Sundays off.
well, usually Saturday, Sunday. I'll cover for them on Saturday to keep them happy.
I think that probably means a lot. I've always been surprised that I still see you in the truck 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Probably because you like it.
It's fun. It
Yeah.
is fun, and I like to be with the guys. That's
Yeah.
where you learn, how your employees, what they go through. I think sometimes if you're not on that truck with them, they forget you're there, which is important. I mean, you got to spend time in the office growing the business, but I always try to be on the truck so I can engage with them, know the problems they're going through, and I love engaging with the customers. I mean, that's a big part of what our business is about. This may sound bad for a business. It's not all about the money. It's about getting to know the community, helping people. There's genuinely people out there that really need help on solving their problems with junk removal. We do a lot of hoarder situations, and that's not just going in and cleaning somebody's house. That's spending time with them, helping their families get through some real challenging times where they have to deal with a lot of the emotional part of it.
You probably deal with some deaths and things like that with cleanups.
Yeah.
So that part's really emotional for people to let go of some of this, like,
Yeah.
a pile of magazines because grandma liked them,
Yeah.
That's hard for people. I've seen it with my own eyes, It's
Yeah.
hard for people to let go of.
Yeah.
So I can see that completely. And we deal with that a little bit on, like, someone passes away, they want to get the property cleaned up. And, Grandpa had 27 tractors, So we deal with that a little bit. But I bet you do it a lot more than we do because most of the time there's not a lot of scrap metal involved. So, yeah, I could see that being really difficult, especially, like, the hoarders.
Yeah.
Do they ever, like, try to get in your way? Try to stop you? Like, what if, like, the family hired you and then they show up and they're like, get the fuck out of my house, Do they do any of that?
I think you just have to be very understanding. It's not about just removing people's items. They have to get that done because they're moving on with their lives. But you have to show respect for it. And there's a process where you're spending time with them.
Okay.
And you recognize there's certain items that they don't want in the landfill. So if you can find a place for it that they can kind of move it to somebody that would appreciate it, that just helps the healing process.
Makes them
with
feel better.
It does.
Than just throwing it all away.
Yeah.
Like, all that, like, because some of that stuff could have some true value, too.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of collectibles. it's always a matter of finding the right people that want to collect, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But I could see that making people feel a lot better if it even went to like a thrift shop versus, Ada County landfill. So the last probably 5 years or so, I keep seeing multiple junk companies.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them here. Why are there so many junk companies here now? What's going on?
That's a good question. Some word must have got out in the valley because there's probably 2 new ones every week.
I see so many. I see some pop up and kind of disappear though too. They're not all surviving.
Yeah, could be. They're out. You just, we've been here for a while. We've established ourselves, and like I said, it's not always about the money. Like if you want to do long term, you're trying to build customer relationships. You want this brand to be, just like you guys are doing. You want to be known as like fair, honest, and work with them. It's you could easily just get money from somebody and say like, all right, I want $1,000 for this. But you're looking at somebody who's going to call you repeatedly. You're building a relationship with them. You're helping them throughout their whole life.
Someone else,
Yeah.
That's how we look at things too. Like I tell people like, I want to do business with you for, 30 years, not 3 months.
Yeah.
I'm not going to screw you. Like, I want to be fair. Inevitably, sometimes there's disputes. There's things that you just can't do as a company. But I think you truly build that bond with your customer and you can find solutions together. That's the best part. If you, kind of put your heads together, okay, well, this is how we can do it.
Yeah.
This is how we can make it work together. Where you get your job done, we get our job done, and we both make a little bit of money. We're not getting rich off of one person,
Yeah.
Because and you do see companies try to do that, gouge people, and it's unfortunate, And some people get taken advantage of, especially in that situation. Maybe get an older person that just really needs help moving something.
Yeah.
And they maybe have money, and that's just unfortunate if you see someone really take advantage of them. So most of these new companies coming in here are franchises, I think. Do you know?
Well, you got your top franchises throughout the whole nation. Those are moving in here. There's a lot of franchises, but they're moving in here along with the other ones that are just kind of starting up.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all getting a piece of the pie.
Do you think they're just seeing the growth here in this valley, and they're just trying to, beat everyone to it and see which one wins? I'm sure they have even In-N-Out's coming here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they probably had to wait till okay, we have the analytics of this many people, and then we'll move here. We'll franchise a couple locations. I would imagine those franchise models, even on the junk company, have the same type of thing. So to me, if I were you, I would think that's a positive. Competition, that's always just makes you have to be a little bit better, Happens to us all the time. Yeah. Competition's knocking on our customers' doors, and we just have to make sure we have all of our poop in a group,
Yeah. You got to grow. You got to understand that you can't be stagnant. You recognize these guys are coming in, but that can make you better because now you have to be on your game and so forth. They're not going to move in here unless there's opportunity, and there's plenty of opportunity for everybody, and you just got to do it the right way. It makes you think smarter because you recognize they've got a lot of money that they're bringing in. But, you can still be smarter and try
Get
different...
outmaneuver them.
Yeah.
You're not as bound by some rules, too. If you're the owner-operator, you can be more nimble. You can make decisions quickly. And that's where we've really excelled. A lot of our competitions got a little bit of corporate red tape they have to navigate, where we can just make a decision, in 2 moves, where they have 20 moves,
Yeah.
So I think that's where a smaller owner-operator has its advantages. And like I said, I think it's a good thing for you to see that competition comes in, because that means there's plenty of opportunity here. Yeah. And it's true. There's enough business for everyone to share it, And you'll have your business, they'll have theirs. And, you always want to compete for customers, and you'll have the crossover, just like we do with our scrap competitors.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I do have to tell myself I'm very competitive, so it's hard for me to not take things personal, because I do. Because some people say it's just business, it's not personal. it's kind of personal to me,
Yeah.
But I also try not to take it home and ruin my day. But I try to care enough where I care about my customer because I want to win. Then I have to remind myself, that guy on the other side of the table, he's doing the same thing I'm doing. I just like to think we do it a lot better. And I think you do your job pretty damn well. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've learned that through the process is it could drive you crazy if you're always looking at the competition. But what you have to do is focus on what you're about. And if you have the qualities of hard work, honesty, that you care, like you said, building these relationships, that at the end are all ingredients that are going to be successful. You may not be the top dog, but sometimes you don't want to be the top dog because you want to go to your family and spend time. You could do this 24 hours worrying about where you are on the ratings and stuff. But if you do the best you can and you have these great qualities, you're always going to be successful regardless.
Yeah, if you're working all the time and not spending time with your loved ones, are you really successful?
Exactly.
Like when you're on your deathbed, and are you gonna say, "I'm glad I worked 100 hours a week for 2 years," or you may think, "Or I'm glad I went to my daughter's, basketball game." I'd probably be more upset I didn't go to my daughter's basketball game than working a few more hours. You got to find that balance. And well. Anything else that Junk Hollers is striving towards? Any big changes in the industry? Any super secrets you want to let us know about before we go?
I think we're just going to continue to journey on. We're going to learn through the process. You head through economic challenges probably, every year, something like that. But we're just going to navigate. It's great to have a great relationship with you guys. That makes you stronger. And we've always appreciated everything that you continue to teach us in this industry. And we're looking forward to more growth, regardless of what we see out there.
Will you plan to expand to any other locations? Has that ever been a conversation?
Yeah, we've got a lot of friends in different places. We're always looking for new opportunities. And if they want to join the Junk Holler team, all you got to do is just call me, and we'll be able to
figure it out.
Yeah.
So you might see a Junk Holler in, whoever's listening to this, they might see a Junk Holler in their neighborhood at some point.
Exactly.
I love it. Thank you so much, Royce.
You're welcome, Nick. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.